share more fight story times, but instead I'm going to share the story time on the reason I don't fight anymore and how I ended up with a warrant out for my arrest. We keep it real and honest on this page, so if this is too crazy for you, keep on scrolling. I'm speaking my truth, and I think everyone should. As always, let's set the scene. I was formerly homeless. I had just gotten my own apartment, and I moved out to a different city, neighboring the city I'd already lived in, to build my business. I moved out there with a boyfriend and his best friend, and it was fine and dandy for some time. Let's call said roommate James. Yeah, it got bad quick because me and James never see eye to eye, and he's a fire sign. He's a fire sign and I am an air sign. We don't mix. James was really struggling with feeling lonely in a new city, so we made friends with this couple that we were really getting along with. Funny, they were always up to hang out, and we really got along with them really well. So I thought, today we were all hanging out, and they decided to bring over their little sister, and their little sister was only like a year and a half younger than me, so we really vibed, like instantly. Call said girl Mandy. Like I said, we liked all the same things, so we got along so quick, like it happened very quickly. Instantly start vouching for James and Mandy to start dating. I'm like, y'all need to date. Like, I love this idea. Yeah, no. This really bad habit of when I meet someone that I really get along with, I assume we're just gonna be friends for the rest of our lives, and I see none of their flaws. Sure enough, they start dating, and at first I thought this is gonna be the best thing ever. Best friendship, like, oh my god, we can go on double dates. No. Obviously, now that James is like in the family, he's like talking with the couple more often. Baby, is he spewing lies about me. He is just on one about me. He does not like me anymore. Like boys tend to do this when you date their best friend. They just like get really mad and jealous. It's like, you date him then. You date him then. Eventually, James starts playing both sides, right? He's telling them that we're talking about them and us that they're talking about us. So we're all like mad at each other for really no reason. The reason does come to surface, but it's not there yet, right? Mind you, while all of this is happening, he's like still bringing her over our house and having her sleep over, and I'm like having to deal with her in my house. Like, mind you, at this time of my life, my motto was like, if you're gonna talk shit, let's just fight it out. Like, that's just how I live my life at that point. All finally comes to a head when James comes home one day saying that Mandy said she thinks I have a crush on him, which is fucking hilarious because he's one, not my type, and two, my boyfriend's best friend. Like, what? I was like, literally, what? There's physically no way for me to be attracted to you or have a crush on you in any way of the word. Instantly offended by this, so I'm like, you know what? No, I'm gonna text this girl and ask what her problem is and why is she acting like this? I thought we were friends. Like, what? Text her this long thing about how I don't have a crush on her boyfriend and how she needs to get a grip and how she needs to stop talking shit about me. Like, period. Instead of responding to this text, she just blocks me, which was so weird to me because like we could have worked it out, but instead you're blocking me. Like, this is so weird. Like, you date my roommate, so I'm going to see you again. Like, what are you doing? The same week, I end up having to get a very personal, intimate procedure done, and James is aware of this. In post-procedure, I feel like shit, I look like shit, and I'm on pain pills, and I didn't want anyone coming to my house, right? Wrong. Shows up other than Mandy and James, who hadn't been home since literally before I had texted her, so it was very, very good timing. Not only do they stroll through the door, her two best friends from college stroll through the door, and they're louder than hell. Like I said, I feel like shit, look like shit, and no one told me that a whole party was coming to my house while I felt like shit. The story time of how I ended up with a warrant out for my arrest. Like I said, I feel like shit, look like shit, am post-procedure on painkillers, and there's two strangers and a girl I don't like in my house. What? With no warning. Like, no one let me know this was gonna happen. At first, I'm sitting my happy ass in my room and I'm just listening to them talking shit. They're talking about how dirty the house is, they're talking shit, and I'm literally in the house. So I'm like, am I about to fucking go crazy right now? Probably. Their two friends were obnoxious and loud as hell. They're just screaming in our living room, and our apartment is tiny. It's my boyfriend, and I'm like, can you tell them to quiet down? And also, like, why did no one tell me these people were coming over today of all days? Like, this is the worst day they could have people over. My boyfriend's like, I don't want to get in the middle of it. Like, I want to stay out of it. And I'm like, great, so I'm gonna get in the middle of it. This is about to get bad. Go out in the living room, and I'm like, you guys need to find somewhere else to hang out. Like, I just got out of the hospital. You need to go. James starts trying to, like, curse me out and, like, show out in front of his friends. And I don't know about you, but I'll beat a man up too. I'm cursing him out. I'm like, get the fuck out my house. Like, you're stank. Your girlfriend stank. Like, fuck you. And then his girlfriend goes to pet my dog. I told you already, like, I'm popped up on painkillers. Like, I am not myself. Spin my head around so fast, and I'm like, and bitch, if you touch my dog, I'll slap the taste out of your mouth. And I'm going crazy. Like, I'm losing my mind. She went, like, refusing to leave, and now the friends are like in the middle of it trying to mock me and stuff, and I'm just like, you don't know what you're about to get yourself into right now. Finally, Mandy, who is actually a good person, decides we're not gonna do this, let's just leave. So they leave, and I'm like, okay, that's the end of that. Wrong again, not the end of that. He ends up convincing her to call the police on me for threatening to beat her up, which really was funny because it was very quick, and I more so threatened to beat him up. So he was scared, I guess. Maybe I know my rights, and this isn't the time that I end up with the warrant, because they come to my house, and I have my story straight. I wanted them out of my house, and they were refusing to leave, so I threatened to beat them up. And the police are like, fair enough, bye. So that night, James decides to move in with Mandy and her mom, and leaves us fucked on rent for a year. Starts trying to go crazy on me online. Like, she's posting crazy lies about me and my boyfriend online, and she's calling me fat, and she's like, just completely harassing me for a long time. I won't lie, I was obviously going back and forth with her after I realized what was going on, and we were being brutal to each other. Moving back out to my hometown because I'm like, fuck this place. Everyone I've met here is fucking weird and I just want to go home. The discourse continues online and it's just constant harassment back and forth, and it's bad. I block her on everything, obviously, but she still has her friends like follow me to see what I'm posting so that she can like talk about it and whatever, because I ended up stopping posting at all. I was like, I'm done with this drama. This is so lame. Like, I'm done. But one day I see a post from her saying that if anyone has ever had an abortion, they deserve to rot in hell because they're baby murderers. Clearly directed at me because I had recently had one. You know, and that was something that was private and personal. For all of the harassment that had been going on for a year, I finally crack and I text her saying, if you ever come to Rochester, I'm beating your ass. Don't talk about me anymore. Not but 10 minutes later, I'm getting a call from the sheriff department saying, is this Emily Mazza? Yeah, it's Emily Mazza. What's up? Go to part 3. I promise it's the last part. This is part 3 and the final part to the story of how I got a warrant out for my arrest. So the sheriff department is calling me and they're like, is this Emily Mazza? And I'm like, yeah, it is. What's up? Shouldn't have said that. Should have just denied that it was me in general. And it's from like a city that's like 2 hours away. So at first I'm like, is this a fucking prank call? They're like, well, Mandy is over here saying that you're threatening to whoop her ass and we just want to make sure that you're not actually doing that. And so I explained the situation. I'm like, I'm being harassed. She's talking about my medical history. She's calling me fat. And I finally snapped and told her not to come to Rochester or I would beat her ass. They're like, yeah, actually that's illegal. And now you have a warrant out for your arrest. And I'm like crying, sobbing my eyes out, thinking my life is over because I'm like, what does this mean? Like, blah, blah, blah. And I explained to them, I'm like, well, this is like a discourse that's going back and forth and I'm responding to harassment and I don't feel like I'm the one that's causing this. This is aggravated. And they're like, let us talk to her really quick and we'll find out if she really wants to do this. There goes James in her little fucking ear being like, no, you need to do it. And she's sitting there like, I really don't want to do this. Like, I don't think it's fair. Again, Mandy's a good fucking person. We've actually worked this out since then. James is like, no, you need to do this. Like, she needs to find out her actions have repercussions. So finally she caves because she's being told what to do. So she's like, yeah, just do the warrant, like whatever. And so the police officer over the phone is like, yeah, you have a warrant out for your arrest now. Like, just don't come to this area and you'll be fine. I tell you, I thought it was a prank for literally 3 weeks until I like called that town and asked and found out it was real. I really thought it was a joke. I thought there was no possible way you can issue a warrant over the fucking phone. The police officer tells me to call my police station and report something back towards her so that we both have something. Well, my police station doesn't do that over the phone. My police station was like, are you kidding? We're literally not doing that. That is so dumb. Like, why? What? For a long time, I thought my life was over. I literally thought that's it. Like, I have a record now. Turns out I don't have a record. It was a misdemeanor and it got waived. And he ended up reaching out to me after some time and telling me how sorry she was for everything that had happened. And I told her, like, obviously I was sorry for some of the things I had said. The weirdest part is we're like friends again and we like act like it never happened and it's totally normal. James ended up breaking up and I don't talk to James anymore, and that is that on that. So yeah, physical altercation and threatening to fight is not worth it. You probably could work it out if you just had a civil conversation 9 times out of 10. Okay? I thought my life was over. I thought it was over. Obviously it's not. And I have grown from then and I don't fight anymore. I think that shit's stupid. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. Bye.
I found nude pictures of myself, 30 female, and female friends on my fiance's 28 male computer. I have been with my fiance for almost 4 years now. We have lived together for 2 years and just signed a lease after moving to a new city a few months ago. This happened an hour ago and I finally calmed down enough to write this. When using my fiance's computer today to download a PDF, I saw the most recent folder had my name, so I saved it there thinking it was a specific folder for me. Nope. When I go to get my PDF, I see a folder full of naked pictures of myself. Thinking the worst, I go up one folder to see 10 other women's names listed. Yes, all full of nudes. Some are his exes, some are his female friends I didn't know he had any sexual relationships with, and other are women I don't even know. I don't even know what to think at this point. I have no idea how to confront him about this. We've had a healthy relationship and I trust him completely, maybe less now. But we are always open about everything. We have had a healthy sex life as far as I know and haven't had any trust issues previously. I am unsure when these images were saved. Were they sent when we were dating? I have no idea and I don't really know computers well enough to know when they were saved. I don't even know if these other women are aware there are folders of them naked on his computer. I am not a averse, and he even has a normal folder that I don't have any issues with. The fact he has exes and friends saved is what's killing me. I have to confront him about this and I have no idea how. I feel like this isn't normal to have friends and old exes' nudes saved in a neat little folder. Please help. How do I confront him and have a helpful conversation about this without screaming and crying? Okay, she says something like about the nudes. She goes, the nudes of myself were all sent by me, but there were some of me sleeping. Ew, creepy!
Am I the bad guy for throwing out my wife's friends at 4 a.m.? We're both in our 40s and she was hanging out with her friends last night. Her friend is moving out of the country, so they're all hanging out at our place first, drinking mimosas, listening to music, and then after they went out to the bars. I'm injured and taking antibiotics and I can't really drink or move around easily. We have a dog and it's a male. And they're kind of weird around other male dogs. There's about a 50-50 chance that they'll like them or not. At 4 a.m., my wife comes home with one of her friends and 2 people they met at a bar. Turns out they brought their male dog. Her dog jumped down, eager to greet my wife, sees the other dog and freaks out. I have to lift him up in order to avoid a fight. Her dog goes over to eat his food as well, and then he freaks out even more. I asked my wife why the hell she thought it'd be okay to bring other people home and dogs at 4 a.m. They go outside, my wife brings wine. They drink in the backyard. Next morning, she tells me her friends were worried about it because of my reaction.